Now what I want to do is show you some examples of disguised content in action, and some of these are ours, some of these are other people that we've seen. And the first example that I want to show you is tweeting to your own blog, and this is an example of our good buddy Dean Hunt. If you're not currently subscribed to Dean's blog or following Dean on Twitter, you should. He's a sharp marketer, and he's just pretty funny, I think. So you can see Dean here tweeted out, "Mindset, do you have balls of steel?" I mean, it's a great title. It's going to be very evocative. And he sent people over to his blog, where you can't see it here, but this blog post is basically, he's kind of referencing an article that he read and is talking about it. But again, if you look here, he's got his opt-in box. Now, I suggest, no knock on Dean here, I love you, Dean, but I suggest that you come up with a little better lead magnet than just something that says subscribe. You could probably do a little better than that. But he's going for something goofy. He's got a fanged rabbit with, I don't know, holding some piece of flesh. I don't know. Who really knows with Dean? He's nuts, and it works for everybody. But anyway, everybody's got to have their own thing. But I mean, that's kind of the concept. Now, this was not getting a very good opt-in rate for Dean. A lot of that, again, it's not just because people from your blog don't like to opt in. It's because the traffic going to your blog is some of your most loyal people, and they've already opted in.
Well, plus one thing Dean does that I disagree with on his blog, he has a subscribe and a rabbit that's cute and all that, but there's no real reason to
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, you should have a better lead magnet.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, here is another shot of his blog full screen, and you can see that he recently added this down here at the bottom, which we call a bottom up pop, and this.
Footer pops.
Yeah, footer pop. This increases opt-in rate by 2 or 3 times. I don't remember exactly where it was. It was, so don't quote me on those figures. But I know it at least doubled his opt-in rate, and we've seen that on some of the other sites that we've tested on as well. And I think one of the reasons that it doubled it, not only is it just very interesting the way that it appears from the bottom of the page, it also is just a much better offer. Kickstart your website for free with max traffic, and he's having people opt in to get that report. If he were to take this same lead magnet right here and move this over here, I can guarantee you he'd probably have a better opt-in rate. But we're not really talking about email opt-in stuff as much right now. Perry and I did another report. If you're a Total Access Club member, you have access to this report called Sneaky Email Tricks, and I think it's just at sneakyemailtricks.com. Is that right, Perry?
Yeah, sneakyemailtricks.com.
But again, if you're a Total Access Club member, you already have access to that report, so no need to go and buy it again. But in that, we talk about the bottom-up pop-up and optimizing your opt-in rate. So it's definitely something worth doing if you're going to do this strategy. Whoa, I'm knocking stuff off the table up here. So that's kind of the sending traffic to your blog for the sake of getting the opt-ins. Now, if you do want to be able to create those bottom-up pop-ups, here's the software that does that. It's called Instant Slide Up. No, that's not an affiliate link, but it's something worth getting.
It's not even a link at all.
Yeah, that's true. It's not a link. But you can imagine what it'd be like if it were, and you'd be able to click on it and it would open up to the page. But there you go, InstantSlideUp.com if you want to be able to do this little slide up dealy bopper right there. So that's kind of the first example. It's something that Dean does a very good job with. This is the primary way, by the way, that he builds his opt-in list, is by sending people over to his blog and having them opt in. So it's something that you can implement as well. Now, another example, we talked about tweeting to a webinar or a teleseminar registration. So tweeting to a webinar, teleseminar registration. Here's an example of a lady who's doing that right now. And what I like about this example is that her webinar or teleseminar registration, it actually got retweeted. You can see here it says, so this work from within is talking to this person right here. So we got a little conversation going on with this person right here. She's saying, hey, it's great to find future women leaders here on Twitter. And she said that, so I'm sure she's meant, and thanks for the retweet. RT stands for retweet, about the webinar. So this lady right here, Work From Within, is hosting a webinar. And this person right here, I'm assuming a lady since she referenced women leaders, this lady right here actually retweeted this webinar link. And that's one of the really, really, really powerful things about Twitter that we didn't really know, that we didn't really expect, that you get when you have a teleseminar, when you tweet about a teleseminar registration, or when you tweet to your blog, or when you tweet a squeeze page. If other people like it, they will retweet it for you. And what had happened? Remember, you told a story back early on when you had just a few. You didn't have all that. I think you had like 3,000 or 4,000 followers. But how many clicks did we get?
I have 40. I think I have 40. Now again, if somebody wants to be, Mr. Mathematician and go back and find exactly what I can't remember exactly, but it's in the 4,000s, I believe, about 4,000, 4,400 people. And I sent out a tweet for a video for a John Carlton course, and as it turned out, for John Carlton's a copywriter and a friend of mine, and I sent out a thing saying, "Hey, John Carlton's got some new videos. Check them out." It was actually for a launch, but the content was video. And I was able to send it out, and it got passed around so much that off of 4,000, I had 4,400 followers at the time, I got over 9,000 clicks because I used Bud URL to track my clicks. I got over 9,000 clicks.
Yeah.
To go watch that video from sending 40. So imagine sending out emails. If you got a 10,000 person email, imagine I'm gonna send an email. I want to have people open it. Ooh, wow. 20,000.
Right,
that never happens.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. But with Twitter,
people pass things around.
They pass things around. It's so easy. Things get viral very, very, very quickly. And I'll tell you, it is a beautiful thing when you're doing a teleseminar or a webinar, or just if you've got a squeeze page, and all of a sudden people start passing around, "Hey, this is a great report. Go check it out."
Yeah.
And if you use the service that Perry referenced to shorten all of your URLs, so just go to budurl.com. So it's budurl singular. .com. You can type in any linked URL and it'll shorten it down to a small URL that looks something like this. And
there are a bunch of those services. I like BudURL because it does tracking for you for free.
Yeah, it'll do.
There are probably others that do now. I have not really kept up with how the all the new stuff as it pertains to URL shrinkage things, because there's a bunch of different sites that do it now. So I imagine there are others that track it, but I like BudURL.
Right. So, but it's a good way to do it because it doesn't look like an affiliate link, or it doesn't look like you're sending to a web page. It just, everybody's used to seeing BudURL, so they'll just pass it around. And if it's your affiliate link in there, hey, great. If it's your webinar and people are building your opt-in list for you, hey, great. I mean, but it happens all the time. And that's one of the big, most powerful things about Twitter list building, is other people will build that list for you. So anyway, so you got this lady who tweeted out to a webinar, and that sent people over here to the webinar sign up page. Now, interestingly enough, if you notice, this webinar sign up page is on her website. Okay, so it's a webinar sign up page that is clearly on her website. I mean, I think her name was Work From Within, and her website is Work From Within, and the webinar is hosted on Work From Within. So it looks like, she's building her opt-in list. What we found, the big aha that I want to get across to you, is that standard-looking webinar sign-up pages convert better than custom sign-up pages. In other words, if you are using a webinar company like GoToWebinar, and that's actually what this form is right here. This form that you see below, I know just because we use GoToWebinar as well, but this form right here is a GoToWebinar form. And because it looks like a very standard form, because it's hosted at GoToWebinar.com, people will go and they will register, and they don't realize that you can export your list out of GoToWebinar. Now, if you're using a service like Aweber, they won't let you import that list. But services like iContact, or if you're using Infusion or Constant Contact, they will allow importing. So again, this is a great way to build an email opt-in list off of webinar registrations. But the big point that we're trying to get across here is that having a standard-looking registration page that's hosted on a webinar registration site actually does convert better than just having an opt-in form registration deal on your own site. So it's kind of counterintuitive. We were surprised when we found that. Okay, now here's an example of tweeting to a squeeze page, and this is something that I did just recently, where I actually tweeted to one of Perry's pages. And so you can see here, I tweeted 2 social media cheat sheets. And whenever I'll tweet to a squeeze page, this is one of the ways you can get around people being upset that, oh, you tweeted to a squeeze page. If you put in that, I put in PDFs because that's what they're getting when they opt in. So I'm making it clear on the front end, look, if you go over here, you're going to be able to download PDFs. Well, people sort of understand that before they can download PDFs, they got to register or something like that. But, so if you put in, if it's an audio, you can do MP3. If it's a video, then you might, a lot of times we'll just do video. But the point is, if you let them know the format, not only does it help to increase the number of clicks, but it also sort of gets past the, oh, you're just tweeting over to a squeeze page, because we're letting them know, no, it is legit content. And you click on that page, and I send it over to Perry's social media matrix cheat sheets. So there are some good examples of how you can tweet. Again, you can see it's not difficult. I mean, you only got 140 characters inside of Twitter, so it's not like you need to be a super fantastic, amazing copywriter. I mean, you just say, here's what I got, go over here to check it out. People click on it, they opt in, and you've successfully extracted them from Twitter, where you were able to build that list for free, over to your opt-in list. So you got a 100% totally free opt-in list. So now what I want to do, because I know a lot of people are like, this is great, this sounds neat, but the one thing that people would be able to argue with this is it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to involve work. Really, it's not. And again, it's free. So who cares if you got to work a little bit? But I do want to show you some strategies to outsource and automate this process, and that's what we're going to talk about in the next video.